My name's Marcus Rowland. I had to turn London into 1970s LA, and this is my design. I was a production designer on Rocketman. The most important collaboration after the director is the director of photography. You can build a great set, but if it's not lit well, it's not going to ever stand out and have a presence. Wardrobe is incredibly important, it sets the period. And then obviously hair and makeup. It's a combination of different skills really in all departments coming together. I think the hardest thing we found was trying to make sure we were sort of capturing the flavour and the style of the place. And it's got a great typeface that we emulated. And some of the details which are very, what I consider to be American in terms of LA, is all this stonework that's so not available in the UK. It's a very American thing. So it's trying to capture the flavour of that really within our set, which we built in the UK on a mundane looking car park. So it was quite a strange thing to see this one facade appear in a car park outside London. Using cars, they're a great thing in terms of period dressing. Certainly when you're on the street or doing locations that you don't have as much time as you would like in terms of dressing them, because if they're a fully functioning street, you're going to be cut down to a limited amount of time to be able to turn that into a period dressing. Cars say a lot, especially in that period. It's a lot harder to get those cars in the UK. We didn't have any of these cars, so instantly you're helped by establishing that as America.
The Troubadour is an avant-garde cafe. It's the favorite of Hollywood's young and young in heart.
You know, through periods of time, it sort of changed in the way it looked as well. The exterior varied and the colour of the exterior varied. We tried to work out the size of the frame, so we built the smallest amount we needed to be. The thing that we did fundamentally change is that the main entrance and the real place is just here on the right-hand side, whereas we decided to focus our attention into the middle door, really. So that's how they enter within our world. In the real place, they enter and you walk through a bar area and then you're into the venue. We wanted to sort of condense that journey, really. So they walk in off the street, straight into the venue.
What the hell are you wearing?
This is the dressing room area, which is actually off the back of the stage as well.
My stage gear.
I think you can see in this clip is how much effort we go into trying to make the set feel as real as possible. We use a lot of plaster, and this brickwork and moulding is plaster brick. It's what hopefully makes it feel real.
I think you're overreacting.
No, Bernie, you are underreacting.
Filming in a small toilet's a fairly tricky thing. So this is a blueprint of the interior of the Troubadour. Ideally, it's all pre-prepared, it's planned exactly where the camera would need to be, and we've accommodated that by a design that allows the wall to pull out very easily. The last thing anybody wants to do is stand around waiting for somebody to spend 30 minutes pulling out a wall. I mean, it really does have to happen fast.
Now get out there and play, you little twat. Come on, then.
Club scenes tend to be, when the performance is on, feel like very dark spaces, really. So behind Elton when he's on stage is still fairly dark, but we put a bit of texture in there and we've got this neon blue Troubadour sign, which becomes quite a crucial bit of the design. It tells a big story straight away. And it's quite interesting to see in these photographs that it was probably, I thought ours was much bigger, but in fact it looks like it was exactly the same size. Fairly technically difficult thing to do when the whole crowd is elevated. It's sort of quite a simple idea, but we ended up with quite a complicated rig. We built two rows of what looked like sort of bicycle seats on a big pole. We layered up the two, one behind the other, to get as much depth as we want. And the reason we cut down on the amount of raised platform is obviously that becomes a lot more expensive. You never have enough money, so part of the process is sort of analysing where to spend it. Put the emphasis on spending the money where you feel that it's going to appear on screen. I think we probably had at least 30 people or 40 people lifted on these devices. So that gives you the basic motion of them travelling up.
Enough of this bullshit. Who wants to go to a party at Mama Cass's?
After the Troubadour, they head off to a party at Mamakasis, which is in Laurel Canyon, which is a very distinctive look, so we were challenged with trying to recreate that in the UK. We tried initially to try and see if we could find a location that would work. It soon became apparent that that was going to be tricky. The second phase was, okay, we'll find somewhere, a landscape that we could control. The location manager, fortunately, had shot at this particular place. It's a big old farm. So I went around with him and we worked out a space that we would be able to construct a particular building. From that point, I start thinking about what we have to design and what's required. So these I just drew on the iPad really quickly. They laid out the basic idea for the space, based around reference that we'd acquired. There are some pictures out there, there's not tons, but you got a sense of the flavour of the place. There was a sort of ethereal quality about that particular place anyway, and there's some good photos of various famous bands. We did use that as our source material. So once we'd sort of alighted on a plan or the scale of the set that we wanted to build on location, we obviously would draw up some blueprints, which I've got over here. This is a basic layout, and from this we also can talk to construction about the methodology and the materials. There was quite a lot of discussions in this particular build really about what we could get away with in terms of structurally, how much load bearing it needed to accommodate. There are fairly stringent planning limitations in the UK. We have a structural engineer who comes along, we make a good guess at what we think is the most sensible way of building it. We design the sets. Then the set decorator on this, she's doing her own research. She will go off and come up with her ideas about how that looks inside, show me photographs, we'll discuss it. So it's a real collaboration of ideas. When they approach the party, we found a space that we could digitally put in LA in the distance. That obviously helps sell it. At night, it's very much more atmospheric. In reality, it's a fairly big open space, but I think because we chose to break it up with different bits of dressing, it's trying to give it as much depth as possible, so you're not in a contained space. You don't need sort of Steadicam shots. You get a great sense of the space. It's nice to have built something knowing that you get the money's worth out of this. We're wandering in and out. I like this bit where you see down the side. I think this was particularly successful. Even though the weather wasn't particularly brilliant those evenings, everybody sort of had a fun time. I think it sort of comes across in the filming. The extras were enjoying themselves, everybody. It had a really good atmosphere. The good thing about Rocketman, we could expand on the world so it was more obvious that we'd actually constructed or we'd created this world. And ideally, you're doing it in a way that is advancing the story, not pulling you out of it. The hardest bit is making sure it it fits with the script, really. So that's how we brought LA to London. It was great fun. Rocketman was a really great script to work on, and as you can imagine, the source material was fantastic. In the end, it was a very great project, and we had a great crew to work with. I sort of enjoyed every minute of it.